how are you?
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, the camera going. Hi. Let me shut my window real quick.
Okay, shut it.
Because the streets of Paris are very loud.
How are you? And
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited.
well, thank you so much for coming on. I have to tell you about, well, actually, when lockdown first started, I did this little YouTube course just to waste my time, or not waste my time, but to learn something new. My assignments were to find different YouTubers that I felt like I could just learn from and connect with. So I found you, and then all of a sudden I became a SHALLON leader of the SHALLON entourage. Screaming So I really do. I love your messages, and I think that you are just an incredible source of inspiration for so many women.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. So I wanted to talk to you today about confidence, because I will tell you, I am going to be 40 in a few months, and it has taken me.
That's fake news, Lauren.
That is not fake.
True.
My 12-year-old daughter is sitting right next to me in bed right now. Trust me,
You
it's not.
What?
I have a 12-year-old. Yeah, I have a 10-year-old as well.
Where did these come from? That's crazy. You look fantastic, but I will let you continue. Hi, daughter.
She's just sitting there smiling. I have to tell her, once you hit 14, you're watching all of her videos, all of them.
Seriously.
So, but one of the things is on Instagram, and you know, I do a lot of beauty editing. I'm the beauty editor for Cosmopolitan Middle East, and I'm always on Instagram finding, you know, the next big thing. But I always the memes that say coffee in one hand, confidence in the other. And it's like a cute little picture, and I can get a coffee. I know how to get a coffee. But I don't think I could just go to Starbucks and buy confidence. So I really wanted to talk about just ways that women can uplift and empower themselves with, you know, simple confidence tips.
So for me, no, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, you go. You're the queen. You are the queen.
Oh,
you go.
You know what? I'm the queen of faking it till I make it. And that is my big tip for confidence. Like, I think if we in life, to do anything, wait until we are like fully loaded, you know, like a computer or an image like downloaded. It's like, we have to be fully at 100% before we go and do the thing. Like, that is not how it works. When we learned to walk, were we like getting up and we're like strutting across the room and we were in heels and we're like, I'm going to try this. I don't know. Let's see how this goes. We didn't talk ourselves out of it. When we learned to drive, we were learning. We didn't start out in, you know, the NASCAR race. So it's like anything else. We have a history of starting before we're 100% ready. And it's when we kind of get old enough to like think about our thoughts that we're like, I can't just do a thing. I can just go and do a thing. That's crazy. No, I can't go do that. So we have to literally just fake it till we make it, because your mind gets in a state of what is called cognitive dissonance, where it's like the reality of what's going on does not match what you want to be going on. I hate my job, but I work 6 days a week. So that's confidence. It's like, I want to go to this party, but I don't want to go to this party. So how am I supposed to deal with this? So if you can give your mind kind of a life raft out of that situation, even if it's silly, your mind is going to be like, great, let's do this. So what I do is, first I pretend, you know, it's like I pretend I'm confident. Even just rolling your shoulders back, and studies have shown that the superwoman pose, just your hands on your hips and your legs apart, like pretend like you've got a cape in the wind. Studies show that if you can hold that for, I think, 90 seconds or 2 minutes, it drastically improves your confidence, just because your body will affect your thoughts. And another thing I do.
Message. Oh, there you are.
Hi, sorry. Okay, what was?
So you were saying, I think what happened was you had the pose going and you were so confident your phone just like, your phone's like, I can't handle this. Hang out too. There you are.
Hi. I don't know what's going on.
You know what? No more posing, because I did the pose and then this happened again. So no more posing.
No more posing. Okay. Totally. So what was the last thing you heard?
That, you know, you feel that if you just kind of, that 90 seconds doing the pose I will not do, and that is confidence as well. One of the things that I had, and I didn't know that I had it until I went to a life coach and she told me I had it, was crippling self-doubt. I had so much self-doubt. I didn't even know self-doubt was a word. Honestly, I was so just, I don't know. I was under maybe a spell. I don't really know what happened to me, but I had so much self-doubt. So what about for the women who just are always looking outside of themselves for approval?
I think this is such like truly a plague for women because we're taught to doubt ourselves. Like be kind, be humble. Don't be humble. Why would you want to be humble? That's ridiculous. So we're constantly taught to think of others before we think of ourselves. We're taught that everyone else knows best and that you might think that that's what you want. You don't really want that. I mean, you don't really want to not have kids. You'll change your mind. Like even we just get all these little micro messages all day that we shouldn't really trust ourselves. So, and we accept those messages, you know, they sink in really, really deep. So, and I mean, I'm a people pleaser. I'm sure you are. I mean, we all are, because if you're not a people pleaser, you're painted as like troublesome or depressive, you know, like a sourpuss. And so what I started to do to break out of that is be like, start small. Like, do I like Pepsi or do I like Coke? Do I like eggs over easy? Do I like them scrambled? Like, get to know myself and pick what I like in every category. I like a firm mattress. I like a hot shower. I don't care that you say hot showers aren't good for my skin. That's what I like, you know, and learn to stand firm in those little things that really have no consequence. Like nobody really cares how hot I take my showers, what kind of mattress I sleep on. So you can build that confidence in standing up for yourself in ways that kind of don't matter, so that when the big things come up, you already can look around your life and you're like, no, I know what I want. I know my living situation is what I want. My body is how I want it. My fashion, what I eat, who my friends are. So I'm actually not going to accept you telling me I don't know what I want, because I've got all this evidence that says that I do. And I'm used to making this choice, and I'm used to standing up for myself and having someone go, a hot shower, that's so bad for you. It's like, well, I don't care what you think. You know, you're used to pushing back, so that again, when the big things come up, it's not an outlier for you to stand up for yourself. It's just what you do.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, when I was growing up, I think there was just so much conditioning from my parents to just always stay small, to be small, to not, you know, bother anyone and all that stuff. And I became an adult that was like that until I saw videos. But say no. How, like for some people, they just cannot say no. And so how do, like, do you, besides just saying like, okay, just say no, how do you get the confidence to say no? Even if it's who wants to go out for, you know, a drink somewhere and you just don't want to do it.
Totally. It's funny. It's like I can say no to the really big things. If a guy didn't like ask me to marry him, I'd be like, no. But if it's my friend saying, do you want to go get a drink? I'm like, okay. You know, like, sometimes it's the smaller things that are harder, and it depends on who's asking. You know, it's like if someone you don't care about, it's like, fine. But I totally get that. I think we all struggle with how to say no. And I try to really think about the worst case scenarios, not in this like doomsday, like anxiety spiral way, but like, honestly, what is the worst thing that's going to happen if I say, no, I can't afford to go on that bachelorette trip? I mean, because we think in our mind, oh my God, well, everybody's going to be so mad at me. Are they? Who? You know, and is that fair of them to be mad at you for protecting yourself financially and being honest about something and being like, hey, I don't want to come on this trip and ruin everyone's time if I'm like nitpicking over the price? You know, you guys go and have fun. And one phrase I say a lot and we go back to is the people who hate your boundaries, the people who hate your no, are the people who benefit from you having none at all. So if somebody gets mad when I say no, that's because they don't want me as a friend, a girlfriend, a worker. They want me as just an open door, just a resource to take advantage of and drain and then throw away, you know, because when my friends say no to me, I'm like, you know, and I'm over it in a heartbeat, because literally who cares? So when I think about the worst case scenario of saying no to someone, I mean, really how bad is it going to get? How bad is it going to get? And sometimes the answer is kind of bad. If we say no to our parents, that's tough, you know, really tough. We're all hardwired to like make our parents so happy, you know, but at the end of the day, like either they get over it or they don't. And at the end of the day, you might only have to deal with their disapproval 20 minutes a week. Like really get granular. 20 minutes a week when you're on the phone, when you're over there for dinner, you have to deal with yourself and how you feel when you betray yourself, which is awful, awful, 24 hours a day. Yeah. So mathematically, if it means protecting myself or letting someone down, I'm going to let someone down.
Yeah. Same. You know, I feel like last year in this springtime, I had the ultimate test, which was I had this girlfriend and she and I had been friends for a very long time, but I just noticed that I kept feeling drained around her, and all she did was talk badly about every single one of her friends. And I ended up just calling her out on it, talk about everyone. And then she tried to throw it back to me. And I was like, but I don't do this. And she's like, that's because you think you're better. And I was like, no, I'm just not toxic. And, you know, it was really hard.
Maybe you are better if you're not talking trash.
Yeah, well, that's like one of the things. If you're friends with me, I will never say anything bad about you behind your back. Like, that's just a guarantee. And so, you know, she just didn't have the same standards, and it just wasn't going to work anymore. But you know, that took a lot of confidence, and that was like tremendous for me to do that, because I was always such a people pleaser before that. And I have to thank you for that, because you've really inspired me. Just listening to you on my up, I'm like, oh my God, this girl is amazing. Absolutely amazing. You are doing God's work.
Thank you. I'm doing my own work. You know, it's like I'm learning everything right along with you guys. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a life coach. I'm like in the trenches with you. I was like, here's what I learned today. This was horrible. You know, so I'm just trying to be like a mile down the road and tell you what I see and what I've learned. But I mean, cutting off a toxic friend, it was actually the last topic on my podcast, Girl on Top, if you guys want to check it out. Because I think I did like 3 episodes on it, because it's so hard. It's easy. It's like, I hear you say that. I was like, yeah, like I'm going to do that too. I'm just going to call people out. And then I'm picturing myself in that scenario. And I don't know that I'm picturing myself calling anybody out. It's terrifying, because again, the worst case scenario kind of played out. I mean, she threw it back on you, and she was gaslighting you and being defensive, but you survived it. You rolled right in the moment. You're like, no, that's not what I do. I'm just not toxic. Like you didn't absorb it. So that's such a good lesson that like, hey, the worst case scenario happened and you dealt with it. So, okay.
Exactly. And you know what? I felt like even afterwards, then all of a sudden I elevated my own frequency. Good things started happening to me. And I was like, wow, I think I've upgraded. I have literally upgraded. So, and you know, I went from being always listening to you, and now we're, So, before we say goodbye, I don't want to take too much of your time, because I know you're in Paris, living it up. Just one last is, how do you handle a no? How do you take a no and be able to walk away and feel like, you know what, I'm still good enough, I'm still me, I'm still confident, and I'm a badass girl? Like, how do you take that no?
There's a quote, and it's my favorite quote in the world. It's by Nelson Mandela. He says, I never lose, I win or I learn. So I really try to go back to that, because no, I mean, it is such a rejection, and who wants to hear no? Who wants to be rejected? Especially if we're kind of going out on a limb, asking for what we want, speaking our truth, putting ourselves out there emotionally. And it's like, no. At least it's like, okay, if I didn't win, what did I learn? I learned that, you know what? I have the ability to at least ask for something, for this raise or for this friendship to be better, whatever it might be. That is further than where I was yesterday. You know, it's not always going to go my way, but what can I take out of this? Because we can't change what happens, but we can change what it means. So instead of being like, I'm rejected, I'm not good enough. Also, think about the times you've said no to people, like a bachelorette, you can't afford it. notice when I was giving that example, it wasn't like you secretly hate the bride, she's ugly. No, it's like I have to focus on my own problems. It has nothing to do with anybody else. They could be the best person in the world. I could be obsessed with them. If I can't do it, I can't do it. You know, so when people tell us no, it's so much of the time it's not about us at all. Even when it's like a dating thing and a guy rejects you, think about the people you rejected who were like, great. You just maybe didn't feel that spark. You were not in the right place, whatever. But it wasn't, hey, dude, you kind of suck. You're kind of awful. I mean, some guys, but not for the most part. No, it's more about us. So that when I think about it, you know, it's tempting to fall into that sort of like selfish trap of like, everything's about me. Like everyone's going to be a broken person on this bachelorette if I'm not there. They're going to be fine. And like the reason they're saying no is because I'm not good enough. It's like they're actually dealing with their own thing, you know? So that kind of helps dial down the mania, gives us honestly a little bit of humility, which is good because sometimes that can be the antidote to anxiety. Because anxiety is just selfishness. It's just self-absorption. What's going to happen to me? And it's going to happen to me and me and me and me and me. And if we can pull out of that tailspin, we can gain mastery over those feelings.
Amazing. Huh. I never thought of that. I actually never even realized that about anxiety. Well, I guess that my learning lesson was I went to Starbucks, I bought coffee. Wasn't able to buy the confidence, so I learned I can't get confidence there, but then I found you. So now I have it all. Well, thank you.
And I'm not going to charge you $5,
Shallon,
you know?
And perfect. And I feel like you would probably just taste smell. So you're just the full package. But thank you so much for your time. Have the best time in Paris. And just keep being yourself because you are just absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, Shallon.
This has been so much fun. Thank you guys so much. We'll talk to y'all later.
Bye.